So you just got your Mac Mini, you're ready to install OpenClaw, but there's one thing that many people overlook, and that is security. Today, we are going to be installing OpenClaw in the most secure way possible. And by secure way possible, I mean that is going to be containerized in its own kind of little jail cell within the OS. We're still going to be using macOS. We are going to be installing a VM inside of macOS that is going to contain OpenClaw. It is essentially a clone of your original operating system inside of macOS. And that way it keeps it away from your network drives. It containerizes it, so in case there's ever any issues, you can make a backup. And if you've used OpenClaw at all before, you will know that it breaks constantly. So this is one of the biggest advantages to installing it into a VM is we can make a backup and then restore from the backup just in case anything goes wrong, which is very possible to do with OpenClaw. I have already had to restore one backup just messing around with OpenClaw for a week. So I'll show you guys how to do that towards the end of the video. So let's get to it. All right, so you've already gone through the whole setup process. You've set up a new account. You could even set up a new iCloud account. And this is all just for the admin host of your Mac Mini. So it's all set up, ready to go. And the first thing we want to do is go ahead. I'm going to bring up Safari here. I already have this pulled up, but this is the installation for Lume. So it's pretty straightforward. It tells you exactly how to install Lume. And it's just one single command line here. And then it'll be one more command line to set up the VM, and we'll be ready to roll. So let's go ahead and do this. Go to our terminal and then paste that in, click run. And it's going to go ahead and set up Lume for us. It's going to ask for administrative access. Yep, we want to allow that. All right, and Lume should now be set up. And then one more thing we have to do. It says if you don't restart your terminal, you need to do this. So let's just go ahead and copy this command here as well. Go ahead and hit paste, hit enter. All right, now we should be good to go. We can go ahead and type in Lume --help. This will give you some additional information on the different commands for Lume. Essentially how to create a machine, how to set different values for your CPU memory, disk size, all kinds of different things. And you can also go ahead and check out their documentation page here. I will put this link in the description so you guys have a reference to go to in case you need additional help. All right, now we're ready to create our VM. So let's go ahead and do so. So I've got a custom code here on my other screen that I'm going to go ahead and type in. Now, if you want to just do the default would just allow you to quickly make a VM, and it's going to set some different allocations for your RAM and your CPU and your storage, but we want to set up our own custom instance here. So in this case, you do Lume create and then the name of your VM. So in my case, I'm going to name it OpenClaw-VM. And then if you just went with this command here, it's going to allocate half your RAM, half of your CPU cores, and it's going to only give it like 50 gigs of space. We want to change this so we give OpenClaw as much resources as possible. In my case, I have a Mac Mini, the 16 gig variant with a 256 gig storage unit, SSD, and then it's the 10 core unit. So we want to set this up so we are getting the latest version of Mac OS. So let's do --OS Mac OS and then --IPSW latest. I will put this full string command in the description so you guys can just copy and paste it. And the next thing we want to set is our CPU. So --CPU. And like I said, I have a 10 core system, so I'm going to go with 8. And then --memory. And I have a 16 gig system, so we want to leave at least 4 for the host. That should be sufficient. 12 gigs of RAM. Disk size. Like I said, I have a 256 gig Mac Mini, so I'm going to allocate 160 gigs. We want to make sure we give the host system about like 100 gigs just in case. And then the last thing is the display, and if you do not set this one, it's going to default to a very strange display resolution. So in my case, I set this to a standard display resolution. I'm just gonna go with 1080p for the sake of performance. And then let's go ahead and check this, make sure everything looks correct. Okay, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And now it's gonna start downloading the macOS image. So once it downloads it, it'll then install it, and then it'll give you a virtualization window where we can go ahead and control it. So let's go ahead and let it do its thing, and then we'll come back when it's completed. All right, so we have successfully installed the VM. We are now ready to run it. So in order to run it, we need to go ahead and type in, oh, there we go. Let's make sure this is registering. Lume run, and then our VM name. In my case, it is openclaw-vm. And it's going to start up a virtualization window like this. And you'll have to run through the full installation process. It's, essentially just the setup of macOS. So let's see, let's get this kind of like this. Right now it's running a little slow because I am inside a VNC right now, viewer, and then also trying to run it inside of the virtualization. But it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and run through our setup real quick here. As you can see here, we have the Mac OS virtualization screen here running inside of our host. So right now we can go ahead and do anything we would on our host machine, but now everything is virtualized in this container where OpenClaw will live. All right, so let's go ahead and maximize our virtualization window here. And you can also turn on VNC and then log into it that way from your host computer. That's probably a smoother method, but I'm just gonna go through the virtualization window here, even though it's slightly laggy. All right, so let's go ahead and first open up Safari. This is pretty simple. We are just gonna go ahead and now install OpenClaw. So once we're on this website here, openclaw.ai, we just wanna go ahead and copy this link here, the one-liner. This will go ahead and install everything we need just within the terminal. So that's the other thing we need to do. We gotta go find our terminal. Okay, there it is. And I guess I might as well pin this because I'm assuming I will be using this terminal quite a bit in the future. So let's maximize this screen here. Go ahead and paste in our command and then go ahead and hit enter. All right, and once you run that code, it should come up with this. It's going to give you some different selectable options. In this case, you've got yourself, I understand this is a inherently risky and powerful program. Do you want to continue? And you will use the arrows on your keyboard in order to say, in this case, yes. And then let's see, a lot of people go through the quick start, which is probably fine to do for most people, but just to show you guys all the options, let's go through manual just for fun. So manual, it's going to say, do you want to set up a local gateway on this machine or a remote gateway? We're going to go with local. That way everything is still containerized within our VM. Set your workspace directory. I'm just going to go with the default. And then this is where you can set up your AI models. And there's a bunch of different options here, obviously. There is all kinds of ways to set this up. And I think for my sake, I have an OpenAI account for $20 a month plus. You can actually use that to link it with your codecs. So that way you are paying just a straight up $20 a month and you can use it with the 5.3 codecs, with limited usage. And then I also have an Anthropic login as well with the $20 a month pro plan. However, recently there has been some announcements that they've made that have essentially said that you can't use it anymore and that they're going to start banning people. I don't know. I might risk it because I haven't really seen any actual evidence of people online of actually getting banned. But to be safe, you might want to just use the API key and then limit your usage if you want to use Anthropic. And that's the Claude model. And Claude Opus 4.6 is probably the smartest model to use this system with OpenClaw. And I think I'm going to be essentially using that in conjunction with probably XAI, because XAI is the best for searching the internet and getting the latest news. So probably just like a combination of OpenAI, Anthropic, and then XAI to get some of your news. So I'm just going to set up my OpenAI account just for the sake of this guide here. And yep, I'm just going to go with the ChatGPT Open Authentication. And it's going to bring up a window here where you're going to have to log in to your ChatGPT account. So I'm just going to do that here real quick. All right, it's going to ask you if you want to sign in to your Codex account with ChatGPT. So this is just going to allow you to use Codex. And right here it says authentication successful. However, you're not done yet. You do need to do one last step in order to get this working in OpenClaw. So up here, you're going to want to go ahead and copy from where it says AC right here. So it says AC, and then all the way to the end symbol. You don't want to copy all the way to the end. So let's go ahead and do that here. So all the way right past where it says DG there, I want to go ahead and just copy that string. And then back to our terminal here. And then we're just going to paste it right here. So paste that here. Go ahead and hit enter. All right, and now you are authenticated with your ChatGPT 5.3 Codex, and you can pick your model. Looks like there's, 5.1, 5.2, 5.1 mini, but I'm just going to stick with the latest and the greatest, the GPT 5.3 Codex. Okay, so the next thing here is going to give you your gateway port. You can change that if you want to. In my case, I'm just going to keep it with the default. And then same thing with the gateway bind. I'm just going to go with the default option here. And then this is a recommended. It's just going to generate a token for your gateway authentication. So we're just going to have it generate that for us. I'm not going to use tail scale right now. I might set that up in the future. All right, and then this is where it's asking if you want to input your own token. I'm just going to have it generate it for me. Okay, and then chat channels, yes. So these are the different chat channels that you can configure. So there's Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord. I mean, there's a bunch of them here. And I think the most popular one is Telegram. And then I'll probably also set up Discord at some point, but let's just go ahead and do Telegram real quick. So what you got to do is you got to go into find BotFather. So this is BotFather account. And then this is where you can create different bots for your Telegram. So let's see here. We have to type in, I haven't done this in a little while, so I had to look it up here, but new bot to create a bot. And then you have to call it something that is unique. So let's see if we can come up with a name here. How about OpenClaw? It has to end with bot in this case. So when you first make it, it doesn't have to end with bot, but just when you make your username. So once you have done so, you want to go ahead and type in this full string here. All right, so now that we've typed in our bot code, we now have Telegram set up. All right, the next thing here is configure DM access policies. So I just hit yes here. This is essentially saying direct message policies. And it kind of tells you which one you want to pick based on your situation. In my case, I'm just going to go with the pairing option since I'm the only one really using this system. Okay. And then configure your skills now. Yeah, we might as well look at some of the skills here. So these are all the different skills that really make OpenClaw super powerful. So there's a bunch that you can configure and go through. And I think there's a ton you can also go ahead and look for later on. But some of the biggest ones are probably like GitHub. So you can link your like GitHub page or Nano Banana Pro. That would be for like image generation, model usage. That's probably a good one. Let's just go ahead right now and just enable model usage. Oh, you have to hit spacebar, I think, to activate it. There we go. Yep. Hit spacebar on the ones you want. And yeah, just for the sake of this, let's just go ahead and just use this one so we can continue, and then you hit enter once you've picked your skills. And you can always go back and pick different skills later on in the UI interface. All right, so now that is installed. Next step here, set your Google Places API key. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. I'm just gonna hit no for now. I'm assuming this has something to do with like a location-based system, but just for the sake of this guide, I'm gonna hit no. Gemini API key for Nano Banana Pro. So that's for image generation. And I probably will set this up later, but for right now, I'm just gonna say no. I do have a Gemini subscription as well. Notion API, that's like a notes taking app. I don't have Notion, so we're gonna hit no on that one. OpenAI API key. So same thing, that's for OpenAI image generation. And then this is for the Whisper API. And then also 11 Labs. That's another kind of voice AI system. And then these are your hooks. These are very important for OpenClaw. Make it interact correctly. So I am gonna go ahead with probably, let's see, we probably need boot. Oops, I keep trying to hit enter. You need to hit space bar here. So boot MD, command logger, and session memory are most likely the most essential ones. I'm just gonna go with these three for right now. I'm not sure if I need the bootstrap extra files, but the boot MD essentially runs a startup command. It tells your AI system what to do. And then of course, session memory is it saves the context memory so it can remember what it's doing. Then command logger, this is just an event of all the commands that it has already gone through. So go ahead and hit enter here. We want to install the gateway, so hit yes. We also want the gateway node. Okay, so then this is the last step here. It's going to ask you if you want to go to the web UI or hatch in the TUI. In this case, I want to just go to the web UI to show you guys what this looks like. So here, it is going to bring up this window. So now you've successfully installed OpenClaw. And that's actually one thing I forgot to mention earlier is this system is fully on its own network. It's still running on your home network, but it's on its own virtual VLAN. So it can't actually like see any of your network drives on your system, which could be an issue for some people if they wanted to give it access to local resources on your local network. But for me, I am just trying to keep this thing as containerized as possible. So just in case anything goes wrong or it decides to go nuclear on me and go completely Skynet and try to turn me into a battery or whatever. I'm mixing up movies here. That's Matrix and Terminator. But anyway, you get the idea. We just want to make sure that this thing is fully containerized. That way, just in case we need to shut the whole thing down, pull the plug, all we have to do is go to our host system and then essentially just delete that VM in Lume and you're good to go. Now, one of the biggest issues with having it containerized in its own VM and it's on its own VLAN network and everything is it makes it a little tricky to get like into an SSH terminal. So I'm going to show you guys how to use a jump command in order to do so. So I'll put this in the description of the video, but if you type in this command, so this is SSH -J, and then this is the host machine. So the username and then the IP address of the host machine, and then this is the VM, and then the IP address of the VM itself. So if I hit enter here, it's going to now ask you for the password of the host machine, and then it's going to ask you for the password of the VM machine. So I'm going to put that in here real quick. Okay. And then the password for the VM. All right. And now we are in the SSH terminal for your OpenClaw VM machine. And ignore some of the errors that pop up here. This doesn't mean anything, to be honest. It works exactly the same way. If you were to do like SSH commands, like for example, you could do OpenClaw. Let's just look at the help. So OpenClaw help, and this is actually a pretty good command to look at because it gives you some ideas of some of the CLI commands that you can do within OpenClaw to check on certain things, or if you're trying to essentially figure out why something's broken or not working. And that leads me to my next thing here. I said towards the end of the video that I would show you guys how to make a VM backup in Lume, and it's very simple to do. However, you want to do this actually on the host machine. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new PowerShell window, and I'm going to SSH into Neo so that we can make a backup of our VM, which is actually pretty simple to do here. So in order to SSH in, you just got to type in SSH, and then my case, it is Neo at the local IP address. Okay, and then password. All right, so in order to see all of your VMs, you can go ahead and type in Lume ls. These are all the backups I've taken so far. You can see I already have one in there that says it's broken because OpenClaw broke itself. So in order to make a backup, all you got to do is type in Lume clone, and then the one that you want. In my case, it's openclaw-vm, and then just make a new name for your backup. So in this case, I'll do openclaw-vm, then I'll just append today's date, 26, and then go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to do a quick clone for you. And now you're back up and ready to go. And one thing I forgot to mention is you will have to stop your VM before doing so. That command is just Lume stop, and then your VM here, openclaw-vm. So you'll stop it, make the clone, and then you'll start it once again. So Lume, and actually you'll probably want to do this inside of your host computer, but I'll just show you guys in the SSH terminal how to do it. So Lume run, and then openclaw-vm, and now your VM is started and you have successfully made a backup just in case anything goes wrong. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. I'm gonna be doing some more OpenClaw type content in the future. I'm also gonna be doing some AI type content as well. So stay tuned for that and subscribe if any of that interests you. Go ahead and like the video if you found this helpful. And as always, have a wonderful day.